Okay class, so now we are dealing with, this is the sixth video, and we are dealing with this topic, new international economic order, which is there in your book. Okay, so now we are clear with the concept of what were non-aligned countries. So see, the non-aligned countries, they were not just the mediators in the Cold War. Their role was not limiting to resolving conflicts during the Cold War period. Okay, now what was the biggest challenge in front of these NAM countries? So the biggest challenge was, see, NAM countries, just I have explained you in the previous video, they just got developed. Okay, their resources were drained out, they were not developed, so they were categorized as least developed countries. Now what was the aim of the NAM countries, since they were least developed, most of them? Okay, their first aim was to develop economically, okay, and removal of poverty. So when they had this basic aim, they understood, okay, their basic aim is this. So this came up with the idea of new international economic order, that is called NEO, NIEO. Now what happened during 1972? The United States Conference on Trade and Development, that is the UNCTAD, brought out a report. What was this report? The title of this report was Towards a New Trade Policy for Development. Now, this report proposed reforms of the global trading system. See, already the least developed countries were thinking to grow economically, right? And they were thinking to form something like NIEO, NEO. Okay, so what happened during that time only, 1972, basically United National Conference, okay, it brought about a report which is titled as this, Towards a New Trade Policy. And in this report, there were some reforms. What kind of reforms? Reforms related to the global, that is around the entire globe, in regard to the trading system, that globe में trading system कैसा होना चाहिए. तो जो reforms उन्होंने suggest किए थे, these are as follows. Okay, so two LDCs, control over their resource exploited by the Western countries. Basically, the report of the UNCTAD said that जितने भी least developed countries हैं, उनको अपने resources को use करने का मौका मिले, like they should be allowed to use their resources which were earlier exploited by the Western countries. Why? Because the Western countries were actually ruling the least developed countries. Like if we say the India was the colony of Britain, so actually the Britain was using our economic resources. So that report said that least developed countries should now be allowed to use their resources. Other reform was obtain access to Western markets so that the least developed countries could sell their products and therefore make trade more beneficial for the poorer countries. See, now if these least developed countries, their motive is to grow economically, so that is quite obvious that they will be making a lot of products. So if they are making a lot of commodities, products, so where will they sell? Because the country's population is majorly poor. So this reform suggested that Western market should be open for the LDCs, wherein they can sell their products and therefore make trade more beneficial for themselves. The third was reduce the cost of technology from the Western countries. Now this is also quite obvious. If a country has just gained independence, it is not economically strong, so they need to have a technology in order to grow fast. So like for example, if you look at the case of India, we needed a lot of machines. So this report suggested that if for example a country which has just gained independence want to buy technology from US, so they should reduce the cost of their technology for the least developed countries. Also, the last reform was provide the LDCs with a greater role in international economic institution. Now, since they are not part of any of the allies, so this reform suggested that we should allow the LDCs to have part in international economic institution, like to have a say in the international economic institutions like the World Bank, IMF. Okay, yes, I hope you are clear with this report. And this also reports come in around 6 marks, so you can, these are very important questions, everything which is mentioned in the notes. Okay, and if you will go through this notes, you don't need to study from anywhere else. This is covering 100% from the NCERT. Now, however, the NIEO faded over time. Remember, NIEO was formed by NAM countries to in order to grow economically. Now, after that, when they were obviously planning for this NIEO, this report came in, the report of UNCTAD. So this led to basically fade, like the failure of the neo, you can say, or the fading of the neo. Why? Of stiff opposition from developed countries who acted as united groups. Like this report, the UN acted as a united group that we are offering the least developed countries so many reforms for them. We are opening, we are giving them technology at a lower cost, we are opening western market from themselves, we are allowing them to use their resources. Okay, so because of this stiff opposition and the competition, and like the developed countries were acting as agents, okay, we are going to help you. So while the NAM countries struggle to maintain the unity in the face of this opposition, so this NIO was just an organization made, it just got faded, so it was never utilized in actual. Okay, yes. So we are just left with the last topic, which I will wind up in the next video. Okay, thank you.